Our next speaker will be John, who has 40 years of experience working with data in files and in databases, from flat files through ISAM to relational databases, and most recently, NoSQL. For the last 20, he has worked on a variety of open source technologies, including MySQL, PostgreSQL, Cassandra, Mongodb, Hadoop and Hbase. He has been working with Cassandra since 2010. For the last 5 years, he has been working for the Pythian Group to help their customers improve their existing databases and select new ones for new applications. This short presentation is a quick review of John's decade of experiences with Cassandra. So, welcome, John.
Hi, I'm John. I've been working with and on computers for over 50 years. That little thing over on the right is my first computer. I started playing with that when I was 10 years old. There were no real computers back then where you could have at home, so that was the closest I could get. Since Cassandra hasn't been around for nearly that long, I've only been working on Cassandra for the last 11. You go to the next slide, Ekaterina. My first Cassandra project, I was working for AOL at the time. It was in 2010. We were working using Cassandra 0.7. It was a identity services functionality. It was very heavy reads, not writes, which is untypical of Cassandra, but it actually worked pretty well. We had like 9 nodes, and it was based on thrift. My second project, also at AOL, was a metadata store for an object store. But basically, what we're doing is keeping track of mail. The object store held all the mail. The Cassandra Metastore basically kept track of all the mail so that you get listings of your mail and all that kind of stuff. We did that on version 1. We had like 35 nodes of Cassandra and literally thousands of nodes in the object store, and that was based on the very new CQL that had just come out, basically. Then I moved to Pythian in 2014. We started a Cassandra consulting practice there. Actually, one of my very first hires was Carlos Rollo. Before that, it was myself and Chris Lofink. We had all of like 3 customers to begin with, and I spent a lot of time selling our services, interviewing new DBCs, including Carlos and others, and training our hires. One of my biggest contracts or biggest customers was a Chinese cell phone manufacturer who built their own iCloud clone. It was in like 2016, 2017. I helped them basically implement a Cassandra 3 implementation with literally thousands of nodes, petabytes of data, and billions of operations per second. They had multiple clusters. Obviously, that wasn't going to fit in one. They had multiple clusters, and they wanted to kind of keep them all together, and I helped them develop a plan to integrate all their clusters together, also with Elasticsearch. The next project was a company was doing monitoring and metrics using in AWS. They were running Cassandra 3.11. They ran multiple clusters of 200 to 300 nodes, and they were all in containers. It was our first experience running with containers. That was kind of interesting. We all learned a lot that one. It was millions of records per second. Very, very time series oriented, but we couldn't use TWCS because the data came in out of order. The next one, okay. The next one was Cassandra eats its own schema. That was a power company. They kept track of media readings. Unfortunately, they had a tendency to do multiple DDL updates every day, which in Cassandra is really not a very good idea. And they eventually ran into a bug that basically ate the schema. So literally the data was there, but they had no schema. Carlos and I spent 36 hours straight rebuilding that database. That was not much fun, although it felt good afterwards. Some of the people that I've worked with over the years, Chris Lofink, Carlos Rollo, Yavin Meng, Sandeep Varpula, Payal Kumari, Pedro Gordo, Pedro Vidigal, Valerie Parham Thompson, and just recently our 2 newest hires, Mario Tavares and Antika